Hello. Alright, I need... Hey everyone for coming in. I just wanted to kind of get some stuff typed in before I officially get started. Hey Thunder. Tiffany. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's see, I do need this. Alright. Hey Big Matt. Still need watch hours to be done. Okay. Of course, you're still welcome to drop your adventure. So drop your link. Hope everyone has had a good week. I know I've got 3 stories pretty much lined up. I'm gonna go as long as my voice will let me, because yeah, that's still been a problem. Hey Rustic. Hang on. Seriously. Hey Black Money Corp. The website I just dropped is where I've pulled all the ghost stories from. I'm not quite sure what the last Friday, where I'm gonna pull those ghost stories, unless I just do randomly. But so far this is the 3rd series of this. The first 2, one was mostly from the coast, so we're still with from Blackbeard to a Lost Colony and all that stuff. And then the Then the next one, of course, we're in the Piedmont part of North Carolina. So, yep, this is going to be weird. Okay, might have to look up that way, so the glare. I got my chat. Okay. So I might kind of do some international, or we'll find some stories to tell, I'm sure. Of course, telling these stories, mostly, yes, there may be just stories, or there might be some facts behind it. It might just be what it is. This is a story. So I'm not here to encourage this or that. I'm just here telling stories. All right. Okay. And just so you know, yes, I am reading from another. So that's pretty much why we're looking this way. Bigfoot stories, yeah. We can do mystery legends, I guess. We'll figure some stories for next week. All right. Tonight's ghost stories. First, I'd like to welcome everyone to. Definitely, if you would like to read these on your own, it's at northcarolinaghost.com. So, because there's a bunch of them on each page or each part of North Carolina. If you ever would like to read them on your own, you can. So, tonight, stories from the North Carolina mountains are full of phantoms, spooks, haunts, haints, weird creatures, and crazy happenings. The hills are filled with the classic ghost stories and with places to go seek out the unusual and paranormal. We've got demon dogs, haunted hot springs, mystery lights, stories and songs to keep folk singers and storytellers busy forever. So let's enjoy some of these great stories from high up on the ridges and hills and low down in the deep, dark valleys. Because, yeah. All right. Our first story, I believe, has selected. I'm sure everyone is familiar with this house, or when different ones are mentioned. The story of the ghost of the Biltmore house. So, where'd you go? There we are. We are in of course, I seemed to enjoy this last time. Actually, kind of giving you about where everything's at, just simple little cues and stuff. So we are going to be in Asheville, and of course, this is with the Vanderbilt family will be involved in the story. All right. The Ghost of the Biltmore House. The Biltmore Estate is located in Asheville. Was originally built to be a vacation home for George Washington Vanderbilt, one of the heirs of the Vanderbilt's industrial fortune. George Washington Vanderbilt was fortunate enough to be born into a life that offered him vast amounts of money that he couldn't have lifted a single finger to earn. In 1886, he traveled to Asheville, which I believe, if no, I don't want to. Let's see. He traveled to Asheville with his mother, fell in love with the mountains and the town. He decided at the tender age of 26 that he would build a vacation home there. And just think, the Biltmore estate was to be a vacation home. Thinking something with a little yard would be nice, he purchased 125,000 acres and called in the shovels. Vanderbilt would eventually spend a good part of his inheritance constructing the estate, including building out on a private railway line to bring his family and guests to the grounds, which were as far outside the bounds of Asheville. So it actually went past Asheville. Though this city has crept up over the years, the estate remains impressive, and the house remains the largest privately owned home in America. Now open to the public, the house, the surrounding estate, the winery, and related attractions make Biltmore one of the biggest tourist destinations in North Carolina. The gorgeous home and its surrounding gardens have featured in numerous movies. Some visitors. But some of the visitors to the Biltmore House have seen even stranger things. In addition to his George Vanderbilt was an active collector of books, art, and artifacts. He and his wife, Edith turned Biltmore into a private home of luxury and would host lavish parties, entertain guests over extended stays. When he died in 1914, his estate passed through his daughter to his grandsons, and it was they who decided to open the estate to the public. Ever since then, there has been rumors that the founders of the estate may still be around. During his lifetime, Vanderbilt was proud of his library and would spend vast amounts of time there, poring over rare editions. It was Vanderbilt's habit to retreat to the library when he saw a bad storm approaching. His ghost may still be continuing this habit, as workers and visitors to the estate are said to have seen a shadowy figure in the library, usually when the clouds are dark and if there's an oncoming storm. George Vanderbilt may also not be the only member of his family keeping up old habits. Edith Vanderbilt has known to personally journey down the library to remind her husband it's time to join his guests. Today, many people passing through the library have reported hearing a woman's voice whisper the name George, as she may be summoning George away from his studies and back to what seems to be the back to the party. Workers and visitors have reported hearing the sounds of clinking glasses, laughter, and snatches of music echoing through the halls. There have been reports of sounds of splashing coming from the estate now empty swimming pool. If the Vanderbilts are indeed continuing their lavish existence into the afterlife, it may be evidence that you cannot take it with you. You also don't necessarily have to leave it all behind. But we have the point in time that we have visited the Biltmore estate, couldn't foresee of hearing things, but there was a feeling of things, if that makes sense. All right. Okay. All right. See. Our next story is The Phantom Hiker of Grandfather Mountain. This is in Linville, or near Linville. All right. All right. Let's see. Okay. Grandfather Mountain is above Blowing Rock Highway near Linville. The mountain gets its name from the mountain's profile, which resembles the head of a bearded old man laying down in sleep. This unique and gorgeous natural environment around Grandfather Mountain has long been a draw for visitors to the North Carolina mountains. Grandfather Mountain was operated as a private tourist attraction for many years until 2011, when it was purchased by the state of North Carolina and now a public-owned nature preserve. The mountain has been a source of inspirations to many. Okay. Shepherd Duggar, who is a traveling guide writer, praises it extremely flowery language in his combination of historic romance and travel guide book. Hiking is one of the most prime attractions that brings people to this park. The park's 11 trails covered miles of terrain, and the most difficult backcountry trails take hikers to unique ecosystems that are home to dozens of rare and endangered species. This is one of these trails that something even more than rare has been seen. The ghost of a lost hiker. Alright, now we get to the story part. The Phantom Hiker of Grandfather Mountain is said to be of an older man, bearded, with a rough and grisly appearance. He can be distinguished from a living hiker by the lack of his wardrobe. Instead, he will wear an old-fashioned workman's coat that looked like they were some in the middle 20th century. He wears a rough canvas army backpack and carries a long walking stick. The phantom hiker is said to appear mostly as the evening is settling in, when most of the day hikers have left or are working their way back. He never says anything or will ever acknowledge any greeting. He simply appears walking along one of the trails in the backcountry, moves swiftly ahead of anyone he encounters, and then simply vanishes. No one knows who this mysterious figure is. Some have suggested that he was a hiker who became lost in the thick woods around the mountains and fell or was injured and was unable to make his way back out. Others have said he's just the spirit of a man who loved the mountains so much that he chose to stay after he died. This ghostly hiker seems to do no harm. He seems to want little to do with people in general. He only seems to be there, like all the other visitors, to enjoy the natural wonder of Grandfather Mountain. So, sometimes even the ghosts trying to enjoy something they enjoy when they're living. And if you're interested how to get there, Grandfather Mountain Preserve is located 2 miles north of Linville on US 2020 221. Let me put that in there. US near the Blue Ridge Parkway at milepost 305. The admission price covers access to hiking the trails, exhibits, and the famous mile-high swinging bridge. Mm. And just a fun fact, getting up Grandfather Mountain. Yep, up. Make sure I have the right mountains before I say it. There is part of it. Part of that mountain is featured in. Oh Lord, what's the movie? Forrest Gump. Yep, part of that mountain area is in the movie Forrest Gump. Just in case you wanted to know. Go back. There we go. All right. Okay. It is raining outside. I don't know if y'all can hear it. It's never good when you're telling stories and hearing sounds. But anyway. Alright. Oh. Alrighty. The third story that we have is The Demon Dog of Valley Crucis. One of the most frightening aspirations. Why is it I was saying it perfectly earlier? Now that I've got to think about it. You know, I mean, ghost, right? Aspirate. Lord. Brain. Anyways, sorry about this, y'all. Y'all know what I mean. One of the most frightening ghosts, spirit aspiration. I'm just gonna stop. In the catalog of North Carolina hauntings comes from the quiet mountain valley of Valley Crucis. This small town takes its name, which is Latin for Valley of the Crosses, from the two streams which they meet at right angles in the middle of the valley. In the morning, mist lingers along the valley of the cross, where everything in the mountain, and even on sunny days, the town will be quiet to it seems to be apart from the rest of the world. And I've been through this area, and it's very, very quiet, quaint little section of the valley. But it's at night that the supernatural side of Valley Crucis reveals itself. There is a certain old stone church located along Highway Highway 941. Hey, Scratch and Pete. Where among, let's see, we're course doing ghost stories, and I kind of go back up on this since I just started this one. It's the Demon Dog of Valley Crucis. This is one of the most frightening in the catalog of North Carolina hauntings from a town very quaint, quaint. I can vouch for it. Mountain town of Valley Crucis. It's Latin for Valley of the Crosses. But the certain old is peaceful during the day. I haven't been there through the night, so I won't know. Most of our visits have been during the day. So, but at night is when the supernatural side of Valley Crucis reveals itself. There is a certain old stone church located on Highway 194, just on the edge of town, where among the leaning graves in the churchyard cemetery, something that could not possibly be from this world steps into and out of the shadows. It happened one time. Of course, this ought to be interesting. We'll figure out if it really happened or just someone's story. So it happened in one time that two young men were driving along this road around midnight. It was a clear night and the moon was full. Bathing in the valley, an eerie white glow. As their car turned the corner, passing the old church, the two young men saw a shadow leap out from behind one of the graves and into the road in front of them. Swerving to avoid whatever had landed in the road, the driver slammed its foot on the brake and pulled off the side of the narrow road. And just for vouching, granted, yes, these are mountain roads, so you're not given but so much, what you won't call it, land to work with to make sizable highways. So you gotta be very careful in certain parts of these mountain towns and valleys, and yeah. Wondering what he had almost hit, he craned his head over one of his shoulders to see what was in the road. Nope, this is where you just keep going. You don't look back. Just keep going really far. And of course, what they saw, or it was a dog, but not an ordinary dog. This was a dog, I'm sorry, I am reading someone else's point of... Okay, it was a dog, it was tall, as wide as a full-grown man, covered in black fur and bearing its massive yellow teeth, and the animal's eyes were glowing, not reflecting light like a dog's eyes will do, but an actual glowing, burning, smoldering red light that seemed to have been the fires of hell. Here we go. The one young man turned to the other and of course asked, "Do you see that?" "Yeah." Because, yeah. No, his friend replied, and neither do you. Hmm. Nope. You're not going to say you saw it? Mm-mm. The animal began to walk towards their parked car. A mutual and unspoken agreement. The driver lifted off the brake and slammed it to the accelerator. They roared off down the mountain road, taking hairpin turns and twists of the road. 60, 70, 80 miles per hour, which I can, yeah. Not the brightest, but hopefully get away. It was only when the driver looked in the rearview mirror that he realized the dog was still following them and keeping up with them and even gaining on them. Panicked and expecting the jaws of the dog to wrap around the bumper of the car and drag it back into hell, the driver gave one final push on the accelerator, and just as the beast was about to catch him, the car leaped over the bridge in the water and just below where the streams meet in a cross. And the dog stopped following them. So, when it got to the area of Valley Crucis, which is also known to be Valley of the Cross, there's two streams that meet. They watched it fade into the distance and wondered what supernatural law it was that the animal was to obey, kept its territory limited by the boundaries of the water. The two young men drove into Boone. Okay, that is 22, and yeah, and had experience that they would not be sleeping tonight. Yeah, I don't think I'll be sleeping either. But that kind of mirrors the story with one of the coastal ghost stories, where the writer tried to outrun a mysterious rider. And within some of the stories, I also kind of eliminate some. I was trying to get to the actual story part. Of course, this is another person adding some other reference to an area. But either way, but I hope you do get a chance to read more of these stories. I do find them pretty interesting. But these are the ghost stories that are in our part of the state. But I'm hoping y'all have enjoyed the stories that we've gone through the last 3 nights. Mm. Mm. Rain is coming down. Well, okay. Well, if anybody, I will. If anyone would like to, mm-hmm. Excuse me. This rain is not helping me stay awake much longer, y'all. Well, I think I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you all for coming in along and going through and reading some good stories. And our final night will be next Friday. And we'll see where our stories come from. And with that, thanks, Thunder. Sorry I'm not. I did want to try to commit to my story time, so with that, thank you again for y'all coming in, and I hope y'all are enjoying these stories. Hope y'all have a great rest of your night and a awesome weekend. Yeah, this rain is not helping. It's telling me to go to bed. But until then, thank you all again. As always, I'm supposed to do this whole like, subscribe. If you like what you're watching, like what you're seeing, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, share me out, all the fun, exciting stuffies. But most importantly, do something for yourself. Do something for someone else. And always remember, take care. Until then, see you later.